Independent off-tube studio commentary. The quarterfinals are underway at the 2026 World Cup, and we are in Boston for France against Morocco, which does have a really nice feel to it. Two sides that are much better going forward. There is, of course, a sense of history between France and Morocco. There's a lot of personal rivalries in there as well, so it should make for a really good game. Beautiful sunshine in the early evening of Boston as well. No threat of a thunderstorm, so this game should just go off and everything should be set for a nice open game of football. Of course, these things can surprise us. France know that they're up against a very tough Morocco side. Morocco know as well that if they let France get into their stride, that things could get ugly for them very quickly. But it's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Jonny Holmes taking the action. Jonny, we were saying off air, this really should just be a very good open game, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think it all comes down to, again, as we were saying off air, how Morocco wants to approach this. And they're at their absolute best when they're on the front foot. We saw that against Brazil, particularly in the opening game. When they go at teams, they can be really dangerous. And I do think this France team, I mean, of course, wealth of talent, but they are there to be got at.
They are, absolutely. I think that the part of the sort of the conundrum with France is that because they are so dangerous going forward, it's almost like they don't get that much of a test in defence. I've said this before, that for all the superstars they have, I'm not sure that Mike Mianga sort of jumps off the page as like a world-class goalkeeper. Potentially he can be got at, but he's very rarely that he's tested because, of course, there's so many great players ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, France, I mean, the way they play is committing men forward. It's that unbelievable quartet of Mbappe, Elise, Dembele, and, of course, Doué and Barcola, interchangeable, both quality players as well. But when you're throwing that high percentage of players forward and into attacking areas, and of course you'll get your Kones and your Rabios joining in with the attacks, you're going to leave space in behind, and Morocco need to exploit that.
They certainly need to, and they're trying to press it out. They've won the ball back in midfield. Great work here down the right-hand side from Brahim Diaz, starting from deep. Just leaves the ball in the end for El Khanous before it's played all the way back into the Morocco half here for Achraf Hakimi. Just to remind you very quickly, so it is Mianga in goal for France, a back four of Koundé, Upamecano, Saliba and Digne. Kone and Rabiot are the holding midfielders, with Dembele, Elise and Doué as the attacking midfield three, playing behind Mbappe. As for Morocco, it is Bono in goal with a back four of Hakimi, Diop, Mazraoui and Salah Eddin. It's El Ounahi and Bouadi as the two holding midfielders, with Taubi, Ounahi and El Khanous playing behind Brahim Diaz. France in possession in their change white kits this evening, despite the fact they're sort of nominally as the first team, but I think they sort of alternate that occasionally in World Cup. So as Morocco is always in their home shirts of the red and the green, France in all white as the ball is played down the left-hand side. It doesn't quite get through to Mbappe. That's good work in the end there from Mr. Diop, rolling it back to Bono, who just perhaps let it roll a little bit too much, but in the end he gets it clear long before Elise can get to him. A bit of a fight there for Koundé to keep France in possession. But that's where Morocco have got to be early on. They've got to really get in the face of the French team.
They have, and just interestingly, straight off the bat, looking at the way that Morocco set up, it looks like Brahim Diaz, who we were expecting to play more centrally, seems to have just drifted over and taken position on the right-hand side, whereas we're seeing El Khanous down the middle early on in this one.
Well, this is good work here from Mbappe from deep, and he spots space down the right-hand side as well here for Dembele, and Dembele's working his way towards the edge of the area. There's an overlap there from Koundé, but Dembele tries to get the ball into the box himself. He was looking for Elise. Ball is cleared into midfield where Upamecano has pressed further forward, as has Saliba. It's Digne now down the left-hand side. Gets that ball in towards Doué, who gets the start ahead of Barcola this evening. Doué finding Mbappe, and Mbappe pulling the trigger early. There's a little bit of a bounce on that ball as well. Bono was always going to get there, I felt, but he needed to get an arm to it, and it's a corner.
Yeah, he needed to deal with it. It's a bit of a vicious effort from Mbappe, because this is always bouncing right up in front of the goalkeeper. It might have been going wide, but you have to make sure in those situations France starting well.
Yeah, it was a very quick strike. Couldn't take the chance there. It's a quick corner as well here between Mbappe and Dembele. Dembele's ball towards the back post. It must be. Oh, it's straight at the goalkeeper. It was a tame header in the end. It was almost like that ball was hanging in the air for too long, and the header at the back post is clear, and now it's a ball over the halfway line. Brahim Diaz will chase it, but it will be picked off, and in the end rolled back towards the goalkeeper. That's good work in the end there from Doué, but that's certainly a warning there to Morocco.
Oh, it really is. And actually, I think it was Koundé with the header. It's really poor. He's got a clear header. He should score. He's about 3 yards out any side of the goalkeeper Bono, and he's scoring, but Bono will be relieved to see it straight at him.
Yeah, it's a decent saver from Bono, but as you said, it was pretty much Elise now working as the ball is played. We'll see this replay again. It's actually Upamecano who gets his head, and maybe that's the problem, that Koundé was actually in a better position to redirect that ball, and then all Upamecano's done is headed it straight out. I'll get your thoughts in a second, because France is straight back on the attack, and here is Mbappe. He's overrun that one this time, though. He won't keep it in play. Just stabbed that ball ahead of himself on the left-hand side before he runs it out for a goal kick.
I can see, just going back to that effort on goal by Upamecano that was saved, I think he's leaning back slightly, but I do think he's got to take it on. I think in that position you see the chance is there, but of course if you're taking it off the head of Koundé, which he did, you kind of have to do better than that, straight at the goalkeeper.
Well, yeah, he's the big sort of man-mountain centre-back, isn't he? From that sort of range, you really want him to be getting onto that header ahead of your right-back, but on that occasion couldn't quite direct the ball like he wanted, as Issa Diop just make sure this ball does go out of play for a goal kick. Didier Deschamps on his feet applauding his side's early efforts. There was an early rally from Morocco inside the first 90 seconds, but since then it has pretty much all been France, and we can see that Mohamed Ouabi, he'll be full of thoughts already as to how his side can navigate all of this. None of this will be a surprise to him, of course. They know exactly how this French side operate. As a long ball is now played back towards the edge of the Morocco penalty area. There was half a chance there for Dembele, but it's an awkward bounce, and Salah Ad-Din can get that ball back towards Bono. But the problem for Morocco is that France are almost playing them at their own game, because when Morocco are trying to play out from the back, there's 5 or 6 French players pressing as well. Yeah,
they're really hounding them, aren't they? Trying to turn the ball over high up. Lots of pressing from the French. But I think Morocco know that France are going to have chances. They know they're going to have a lot of the ball, and they're going to be quick, and they're going to be direct. And what they're going to have to do is soak it up, and they're going to have to hope that Bono has a good performance. They're going to have to see their centre-backs, Mazraoui and Diop, clearing away a lot of balls into the box and making a lot of blocks, and hopefully just try and nick one at the other end.
Absolutely, and when Brahim Diaz gets that one chance, he needs to make sure that he takes it. This is good work, though, from El Khanous, spinning away from trouble in the midfield. He's had to drop quite a long way back into his own half, though, just to keep his side in possession. It's now with El Ounahi over towards the left-hand side. No options there, though, for Mazraoui. The ball played back in towards the edge of the Morocco penalty area. As France momentarily just sitting back a little bit deeper, because Morocco aren't really making any progress here. It's 15 passes or so, and they've not really got any further forward. It's the two centre-backs now, Mazraoui and Diop, exchanging passes. It goes down the right-hand side here for Brahim Diaz, who really does like to drop deep. He's supposed to be the number 9 on paper, but he's got number 10 on his shirt, and if anything, he drops even deeper than that.
Yeah, and he seems to be out on the right quite a lot. I mean, early on, I did mention it about in the first minute, where it seems like El Khanous is the one who's playing straight down the middle, although I think he's moved over to the left-hand side now. And interesting to see Hakimi, obviously quite talismanic, the captain, the number 2 on the right-hand side, but he's been drifting into midfield as well. It feels like this Morocco side is really interchangeable, like shades of the total football about it. They do like to just move around the pitch, don't they?
No, they absolutely do, and as long as they all understand that, and they make sure that that there is always, the gaps are covered when somebody is out of position, then it's not going to be a problem at all. There is a balloon on the pitch. I'm just wondering whether or not the referee, Facundo Tella, by the way, from Argentina, heads up our Argentinian refereeing squad this evening. It is pretty much a squad these days, as you think of all the referees that there are, both at the ground and in the VAR room as well. Ball now played over the top here for Brahim Diaz, but that won't reach him. It's with Saliba now. He finds Elise, and now France are going through the gears here down the left-hand side with Rabiot. Gets it to Doué. Doué towards the penalty area. Now he skips away from Hakimi, but he can't skip away from the second challenge there from Bouhaddi. The ball into midfield, and they want a free kick there, Morocco, and they're going to get it. Brahim Diaz was tripped in the end.
Bouhaddi does really, really well there. Stays on his feet and gets a really sharp challenge in. And when you have these players running at you, like Doué was there, you've got to make those tackles, and in the end, the foul is drawn as well. So that's really good hold-up play by Diaz. Really good defensive work by Bouhaddi.
Absolutely, that's what Morocco need to do. Anything they can do just to slow down that French possession, just break it down so they don't get those long spells of attack. That's exactly what Morocco need to do. And they are seeing a little bit more of the ball out in these last few minutes, but it is all on their side of the field. Now they're trying to move into the French half here with Brahim Diaz playing a ball over the top for Hakimi. Hakimi will chase it, but it was always going to be a tall order, really, and Saliba's there just in case. Even without Saliba, I'm not even sure Hakimi was going to make that one.
No, I'm not sure he was, but it's interesting to note that Hakimi is making those bombing runs forward. He does like to play so far forward, the right back, but he's not even a right wing back. Sometimes he feels like a right winger, the way he bombs forward. Wondering if he was maybe going to sit back early on and just see what the France pressure was like, but no, any chance, he's going forward.
Absolutely, he needs to be as a strong challenge there in midfield, but a successful one. Wins that ball back. That's good work from Kone, and he finds Mbappe just at the edge of the D. D. He goes out towards the left-hand side. Doué goes for a strike, but it's straight into the knees of Issa Diop, and he deflects it out for a throw.
Yeah, he does, cutting inside Doué. I think Morocco will be quite happy with how that transpired. They were able to double up on Mbappe, who's forced to shift it out wide, and then when Doué tries to cut in, he's quite far out. If the shots are coming from there and you're able to close them down, I don't think they'll be too unhappy with that.
Oh, there's a bit of slow possession here for France. Almost goes wrong. It does go wrong now because the pass from Doué intended at Digne is blocked by Bouhaddi. Just get the feeling that both him and Alounaoui are going to have a busy evening tonight. The two are holding midfielders for Morocco. I mean, that position's always going to see a lot of traffic, but this evening especially, you just feel that they're going to have to probably do more of the work than they normally would do because the attacking midfielders, unless they start dropping very deep, aren't going to see much of the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be a key battle, that is, which of those two holding midfielders for those sides. You've got Kone and Rabiot for France, and you've got Alounaoui and Bouhaddi for Morocco. Whichever of those four can get hold of the midfield, that's going to be absolutely crucial in this game because we know how much attacking talent both of these sides have.
Absolutely. There's a long clearance there from Bono. Doesn't quite get through to Brahim Diaz. That's a tactic that I don't think Morocco need to employ too often because Brahim Diaz in an aerial battle against Upamecano and Saliba, well, it wouldn't be allowed in a boxing ring, would it, really, in terms of the weight divisions? It's just not a fair fight at all. So they're going to have to try and get that ball on the deck to Diaz, or indeed getting to run onto something. There's more of a chance of him getting some joy like that. But it is now in possession with Ounahi. Ounahi's ball forward is not going to get through towards Hakimi, but he's fighting to try and win it back, and there's a heavy touch there from Rabiot, and Rabiot's lost the ball. That's a terrible pass, though, from El Khanous. I mean, he's hit the deck like he wants a free kick for a foul. He's not going to get it. And it's a real shame because Rabiot effectively just gave the ball away. Yeah, he had a lot of space and time there, El Khanous. I don't know who he's looking for. It didn't seem like there was a switch on. And as soon as he releases the ball, I think he realises he's made the wrong decision and tries to get a free kick out of it. But that was never going to happen. And, I mean, early signs there. I mean, if Morocco can turn the ball over, we spoke about the French press. If they can do that themselves, they're going to be dangerous. They are, and that's the hope here for Morocco, that when they can win that ball, just a little bit more urgency in terms of possession. But the ball's gone down the right-hand side here as France look. There are four waiting in the box. If Elise can get this cross in, then Belle's got into more of a central position, but Elise just prefers to go back towards Koundé. Upamecano now around 30 yards out. He goes square to Saliba. Saliba spots a pass down the left, but the pass to Doué is easily blocked in by Brahim Diaz. And now France have got many men forward, and this is a chance here for Morocco to go on a counter. It's a great run from Brahim Diaz, getting all the way to the edge of the area. Kone covering, Kone challenging, Kone winning the ball fairly, says the referee. It seems to be a little bit of a theme here for Morocco. Every time they lose the ball, they want to show there was an injury. There was no injury there to Diaz as far as I could see. Didn't think there was a foul either, as France now back in possession here with Dembele. Around 40 yards out from goal. He tries an early ball down the right-hand side for Mbappe, but it's forced him a long way wide. He can't go for goal from there, but he tries to go along the 6-yard box. If he can pick out a teammate, he's rolled back to the edge of the area for Kone. There's a Moroccan leg just gets in the way and deflects that away from Kone. But here is Koundé now for France. Gets into Mbappe, who just backheels that ball in towards Elise. He's into the penalty area on that left foot, but he doesn't want to go for goal. Just leaves it for Mbappe. Now it's with Rabiot. Rabiot just at the edge of the D. Over to Doué. He goes back towards Adrien Rabiot. Now it's with Digne, takes one touch and puts a cross in, which is over the head of Jules Koundé, and cleared back into midfield.
Yeah, France turning the screw a little bit now. They're having a lot of possession deep in the Moroccan half, and they're looking for balls into the box. And a couple of times we've just seen Mbappe getting released down that right-hand side. A couple of sloppy passes, in fact, early on from both sides. There have been a couple of occasions when it's been misplaced and allowed the other team to launch a counter-attack, but it's France and then a free kick. Looks like it's been given away.
Yeah, a free kick has been given away. It's going to be Michael Elise, who's just brought down to the ground. Ounahi with a bit of a clumsy challenge there, just as Elise was getting away from him. Yeah, just a knee to the leg, really, rather than any kind of malicious trip there from the Moroccan midfielder. As we'll see here, I mean, I tell you what, I may have to withdraw my previous statement. I think there probably was a foul there on Brahim Diaz because Kone never got any of the ball.
Yeah, I think he's really unlucky because I thought it was just like a little arm, a little bit of physicality that caused Brahim Diaz to hit the deck too soon. But no, there's also a tangling of legs, so 2 hits of contact.
Yeah, there certainly was. France have this free kick now. It's about 35 yards out. The cross in from Elise is easily dealt with and cleared back into midfield where Koundé mops up for France. He goes back to Elise. Square now to Digne. Digne did have enough of an angle for a cross, but he wants to go further wide out towards Doué on this left-hand side. Doué then finding Mbappe just at the edge of the area, and he gets a bit of luck after the initial block from Diop, but then Diop makes up for the earlier error, and he's able to get the ball into Talbi, then goes back towards Bono, who's taken a huge risk there. Very casual playing out from the back. thumb up there from El Ounahi, but that wasn't too far away from Dembele getting a freebie.
Yeah, it could have been disastrous there, but Bono will just say, no, I had plenty of time, I knew what I was going to do. But you always just sharp intake of breath, don't you? But Morocco have played their way out nicely and can come forward.
Yeah, they certainly can. It's with Diaz again, who seems to be everywhere for Morocco. There may be a foul there. Referee allows play to go on. Diaz takes 2 more touches and then loses the ball. It's Ounahi who's down, and it has been given. Yeah, as I say, Morocco have been hitting the deck every time they feel that there is a foul. Ounahi there showing that ankle injury, apparently. But regardless of whether there's an injury or not, he definitely was clipped there by Digne.
Yeah, it's definitely a foul. I was intrigued that the advantage was at first played, and then the referee did give Diaz the chance to take a couple of touches, and once he lost the ball, I get the feeling that they just wanted the free kick either way. So it has been given, it has been pulled back, and it's quite far out, but so far towards the touchline that there is a chance to get a little bit of whip on this one.
Well, there is, and they are going to use the right foot of Hakimi, so it's going to be an outswing, or he may try and send it in quite flat on the angle just to get one of his teammates to attack it. To say there is plenty of height in that French defence as well. So it is going to be a bit of an aerial battle here for Mesrab, but certainly Diop is a very strong player in these situations. But Hakimi, I think he saw his name up in lights there, because he's gone for some sort of Beckham stroke Roberto Carlos special, and he's just got it completely wrong.
Yeah, shades of Ronaldinho against David Seaman, except that one actually went into the back of the net, and that seemed like a really poor effort from Hakimi. I don't know what he saw, because I didn't even think that Maignan was that far off his line, really. He's just gone for goal from a long way out, and it was nowhere near.
Nowhere near, as I say. I mean, Ronaldinho can do those sorts of things, but that's not to say that Hakimi can't, but in a World Cup game, I just think it was a bit of a waste when you consider that it's taken quite a lot of effort for Morocco to get any kind of attacking possession. That was a free kick in an attacking position now, but France getting the ball away from their own penalty area. At least they have to drop a little bit deeper, finding Digne. Digne then in towards Mbappe. He's got 2 Moroccan players on him. He just goes past the first, going all the way to this left touchline. He wants to throw. He is he's not going to get it. I thought that was a throw to France, in fairness. Mbappe looking a bit surprised. The Moroccan players applauding the linesman. Let's see who deserves the applause. Ooh, it may have been a double kiss off the back of Mbappe, to be fair. Yeah,
I think that's a really good decision, because on first viewing with the naked eye, I agreed with you. I thought it went out off the Moroccan player, and I thought Mbappe did well, but it does cannon back out off him. So we've got to say fair play to the referee, Facundo Tello, who's done really well there.
He has, yeah. The referee has got it absolutely correct. Been backed up by his linesman. 17 minutes on the clock. Unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary from Massachusetts, where it's still goalless between France and Morocco. France making the better strides early on, forcing a couple of saves there from Yassine Bono, but Morocco certainly enjoying their moments of possession as well. France now back on the ball here in the Moroccan half with Dembele over to Rabiot, 40 yards out from goal. Rabiot into Saliba, and now Digne with a bit more space down the left-hand side. But because Morocco are playing quite a high line, even with France in possession quite close to their penalty area, it does mean that it's very difficult to... Twice we've seen Digne just stop him because he can't get across him because there's no one in the box.
Yeah, I think that's really important for Morocco. If they allow the French to get too close to the box, we know what these wide players can do. They can cut inside, they can bend the ball in. We saw Dembele do it a few times. We've seen Mbappe do it a few times. They're going forward.
Well, they're going forward now with Elise, absolutely. Then he finds Doué on the left. His ball into the box. A header then from Dembele. And it's just wide. It was a header from the right-hand side of the goal, back across the goalkeeper, towards the goalkeeper's right. But in the end, the header just angling away from goal. But it was the right idea.
Yeah, it looked deceptive on our screens because we couldn't quite see from the angle whether that was heading in. And it wasn't too far away, actually. But there is a little bit of daylight between that header from Dembele and the far post. But I tell you what, that's France looking really dangerous on the left-hand side. A little bit of an overlap, a little bit of space, slow to get out to him. And the cross-in was pretty accurate as well.
It was indeed. We've got a throw-on now to Morocco here on the right-hand side. As we can see, lots of pockets of fans in red around the stadium here. It's good to see plenty of Moroccans across the US, and I'm sure there would have been some that have travelled across from North Africa as well. Of course, Morocco are one of the new big players, I suppose, in world football. They were semi-finalists at the last World Cup, and they're certainly one of the bigger sides in the African competition as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 4 years ago they were the resident giant killers and it was a dream run to the semi-final, but now it feels like they belong here. They just are a good side, a strong side, and it doesn't feel like that much of a shock that they can go toe-to-toe with nations nations like Brazil, with nations like the Netherlands, and with France like they are here.
Well, here come France again now down the right-hand side. It's with Dembele. Wants to go for goal. He does, and his shot goes straight into the back of Unahi. It's cleared back into midfield where Upamecano and Saliba, well, they can afford to play like midfielders for France in moments like this. It's only whether they can track back quickly enough if France do lose possession. As Kone then finding Upamecano. Saliba now joining this particular move. He's about 40 yards from goal, going square to Digne. Options ahead of him here for Digne, back in towards Saliba. Now Koundé dropping a bit deeper, finding Dembele on the right-hand side, heading towards the penalty area. Dembele has the overlap of Koundé. Koundé fires that one into the box. It gets a deflection, and France have a corner. Yeah,
they're starting to look dangerous, aren't they? I can't remember the last time that Morocco looked like they were coming forward. It's been all France, and they're just turning on the screw. They're just turning up the pressure and trying to hem that Morocco back line. And it's what's really important for Morocco is they don't just creep further back and go into that defensive mentality, because what they need to do is keep France as far away from that 18-yard area as they can.
Well, they do. They are starting to become a little bit swamped now, but it was a short corner here. Elise to Dembele, then a cross coming in, and it's off the top of the head, really, for Madri and Rabiot, and a long way over the bar.
Yeah, it's a poor header, really, but once again, swinging balls into the box, and we spoke about the height that France have in their side. It's only a matter of time as, once again, Morocco trying to play out from the back.
Well, they're causing themselves their own problems here, Morocco. Hakimi then with an awful ball from the edge of his own penalty area. It's been picked off here by Rabiot, only about 30 yards out from goal. Elise then finding Doué on the left-hand side. There is a two-man barrier blocking him from getting into the penalty area, so he has to go back in towards Rabiot. Rabiot then to Saliba. Now Upamecano. To Michael Elise, immediately having to play the ball back to Saliba. Morocco, of course, have their whole 11 in and around their penalty area, making it as difficult as possible for France, but Rabiot has gone on the overlap. The flag has stayed down. It's the ball in towards Elise, who then lifts a very high and hopeful ball over the head of Koundé, who's doing his best to keep it in, but it was a losing battle. Elise's overplayed that quite a bit.
Yeah, he has. Didn't get it right. Just tried to scoop it up and over for Koundé, but he overhits it. I thought for a second there, Rabiot looked like he'd actually got beyond his man. I thought he was in behind for a second, but he seemed to just wait for the ball to come to him rather than, checking back and turning. And he had a bit of space in behind him. I don't think he knew that his defender had actually allowed him to get goal side.
It was. This is becoming a little bit of a theme in this game now for France, where the quality of the delivery has let them down a little bit. Barring that one chance, of course, where Upamecano beat Koundé to the header. Other than that, most of the balls into the box for France have been quite disappointing so far.
Yeah, they have, and I think that's the thing from the France point of view, is they'll be happy with the possession. They'll be happy that they've been on the front foot, and we see those momentum graphs. I'm sure that France have had most of it, but they haven't really created anything other than the Upamecano header that you mentioned that has been particularly clear cut. So from that point of view, I think Morocco can be pretty satisfied, even though they haven't had much of the ball.
Yes, I think certainly from a glass half full point of view, I think the manager Mohamed Ouabi will be saying that to his players, that you have really kept France at bay. Your goalkeeper's had to make 2 saves in this first half so far, but he may be having to make another one here because France win the ball in midfield, and then Elise's pass towards the right-hand side is just about kept in play by Dembele, but he shows too much of it towards Salah-Eddine, who then easily wins it back, and there's a chance now for Morocco on the counter. It's with El Khanous, plays the ball over the halfway line here, and it's been chased all the way by Taubi. Taubi gets to the edge of the area. He actually nutmegs Upamecano, but there was nobody close enough. Naki was the closest, but he was still about 5 yards away from where that pass ended up. So now France have it back, and they're trying to inject a bit more pace into it. Mbappe was fouled there in midfield. I'm pretty sure that he may have been, but the referee is not interested. Mbappe stays on the ground, and Morocco stay in possession here with Diaz down the right-hand side, heading towards the penalty area. Gets away from Doué. Leaves the ball here for Hakimi. Hakimi then going on the overlap, burst into the penalty area. That's a good block, though, from Digne. And Morocco have their first corner. Yeah, finally Morocco coming forward a little bit. For a second there, going the other way, I thought that Salah-Eddine, as we look at the replay, it's a great tackle. It's an absolutely fantastic tackle by Hakimi. He had to be a little bit careful. It's a little bit of a stamp down, but he's nowhere near the man. Gets the ball, and it's short from Morocco. It is. Brahim Diaz then with the ball in, and it's not a particularly good one. Rabiot can see what's happening, heads that away. And Mbappe then has the ball for France, playing it back to Doué. And then Doué plays it to Elise, then runs straight into Unaki. And eventually France do lose the ball. Doué wants a free kick. He's not going to get it. We're expecting a bit too much from this referee. Brahim Diaz then gets the ball into Unaki. Back over on the right-hand side now with Bouhaddi. Again, France are back in numbers. We're way over the halfway point in this first half, so the next time the ball goes out of play, we are going to be getting the hydration break, and they need it today as well. It's 30-plus degrees early evening in Massachusetts tonight. But the ball now back down on the right-hand side with Hakimi in towards Brahim Diaz. Diaz into Bouhaddi. Brahim Diaz again, just clips that ball over the top. Bouhaddi's chasing it into the penalty area. It's an awkward bounce there. Digne and Rabiot just about deal with it, and now there's a chance for France to go on the counter. Doué did well to hold it up, and he finds Elise. Elise's over the halfway line, and he feeds the ball in towards Mbappe. Mbappe into the box, but the angles. Oh, he's been brought down. That's got to be a penalty. That is a complete lunge there from Nosser Mazraoui. And if the referee's been allowing a few bits of contact in this game, he is not letting that go. France deserve that penalty there.
Stonewaller, absolute stonewaller. It must be so frightening because Mbappe, even when he hasn't got the ball, he's making that run and he gets released and he's just tearing at Mazraoui. And as soon as he does a little step over and goes round him, what do you not do? You don't bring him down. You don't stick a leg out. You have to force him towards the byline. And it's a stonewall penalty. And I don't know what Mazraoui's doing. Hakimi wanted a foul earlier in the build-up. He wasn't going to get one. The ball was got. And I tell you what, the ball was not got there. Mbappe knows what's coming. He feels the contact. He goes down, and it's an absolute stonewall penalty.
Mbappe, I think, wants to carry on his run, but as soon as he stabs that ball forward and then he gets brought down, I mean, it is a lunge from Nosser Mazraoui, and the referee. I mean, the expression on Facundo Tello's face when he was talking to Mazraoui, it was almost like a policeman that's caught you blatantly speeding and said, well, what do you want me to do? You've gone past me 20 miles over the speed limit. I'm going to have to give you a ticket. And it's a little bit like that with the referee saying to Mazraoui, well, what do you want me to do? You brought down one of the world's best strikers, and and it's so blatant as well. It's the usual Dembele now holding the ball up here. Issa Diop is still. I mean, they're doing a VAR check. That could only be to double check whether they want to give a foul for the Mazraoui for the Hakimi being brought down, because there is absolutely no way that the foul that actually led to the penalty isn't going to be given. So they've confirmed it now that the penalty will stand, and it looks like we're going to see Mbappe. He's already got the ball now. Dembele's done his job as the minder. Seems to be it's pretty much a theme with every team these days, isn't it? That so you have somebody almost guarding as security for the ball, and then as soon as it's confirmed that the penalty's taken and everyone's out of the penalty area, we can actually give it to the penalty taker, and that is going to be Kylian Mbappe. So it's Mbappe against Yacine Bono. We've seen Messi miss a couple of penalties already in this World Cup, but Mbappe generally is a bit more of a safer bet when it comes to spot kicks. Just waiting now for the referee to do his final checks. Taking a very long time here, Mr. Tello. But he's happy now. Everyone is outside the box, and Mbappe is ready. Referee just getting into his position as well. Really is taking a while. Mbappe's going to have to be very patient here whilst the referee does his final checks. Didier Deschamps looks on very calmly. He knows that he's got a very safe penalty taker. I mean, I don't actually understand. I mean, I'm doing all this build-up because I'm assuming that the next action has to be the penalty. What is the referee waiting for?
I have no idea. It looks like, well, the penalty's been given. Mbappe's ready to go. The goalkeeper's ready. I think we're finally going to get this penalty. Was someone maybe encroaching, running into the box?
From that angle, it looks to me like the ball's nowhere near the spot either. But so that's another thing. Now we're going to have to check that as well. The ball's not on the spot. I mean, this is so. Football is the most popular sport in the world, but we don't make it easy for new fans to get into the game sometimes. With all of this, it's just so pedantic. It should just be done. But now we're ready. Mbappe with a little stuttered run up. Oh, it's an awful penalty. He has rolled it at a walking pace, and it's saved by Bono. It's a terrible penalty from Mbappe.
It's a shocking penalty. If you're going to do that and roll it, you've either got to do the keeper with the eyes or you've got to get it right in the corner. But it's nowhere near. It's fairly central. It's an absolute snail's pace. He doesn't do the keeper with the eyes. He goes the right way. Bono makes the save. You can't say it's a great save. Maybe it's a great psychological moment for him in terms of he's outfoxed Mbappe.
He has, but France have won the ball back immediately. We still haven't had the drinks break yet, so we're at 28 minutes now. But here come France again with Koundé. He leaves the ball now for Manu Kone over towards the left-hand side now for Digne. Digne in towards Mbappe. Little back heel to Doué, but that's going to be cut out, and that should be going out for a throw. It is, and that is going to be the hydration break.
That little back heel from Mbappe screams, I know I've just missed a penalty in a terrible way. Let me do something silky and fancy to show everyone that I've still got it, or even to make me feel a little bit better, because that's a shocking penalty. I was about to say, coming into this hydration break, that Morocco will be so disappointed. They've really marshalled France well. They haven't given them any clear-cut opportunities, and then Mazraoui makes the tackle and undoes all the hard work. But no, Mbappe, awful penalty, and I can't remember the last time I saw him miss one.
I can't remember either, and also when you think of just, it's hard to understand what he was trying to, why he would even think that would be the best way to do it. We can see now Deschamps is urgently trying to get to his right-sided players. They're talking to Kone and to Koundé, to try and get something started, maybe more on that right-hand side. But I mean, it can work both ways. Mbappe missing a penalty could have dented France psychologically, but actually it might have just G'd them up even more, because they haven't really seen anything from Morocco to scare them as yet so far.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I can imagine that Morocco will be quite satisfied to see that fall into the gloves of Bono in goal. I think with those penalties where you kind of roll it either side of the goalkeeper, you have to be absolute. I can only imagine that Mbappe was sure that Bono was going to his right, to Bono's right, and in fact he didn't. He checked back and went to his left and fooled him. We saw, what it reminds me of is the World Cup final when Messi took the penalty for Argentina and scored in the shootout, and he just rolled it past Lloris. It was very central, and Lloris had gone the wrong way and almost had enough time to get back and make the save. But in that instance, we're saying Messi's a genius. He's cool under the greatest pressure. But because Mbappe just rolled it into the gloves of Bono, it looks terrible. You have to get those right if you're going to take it like that.
No, you do, and I mean, I'm a fan of the just lacing a penalty. Really, if you hit the ball naturally across the goalkeeper, right side into the left side into the right, then that to me is the best way to take a penalty, because it's almost impossible for the goalkeeper to save it. Then unless he gets such a big head start that you can see him get the head start, then you could even change your mind at the last second. But well, the opportunity for France has been and gone. We've had the hydration break now. We're at 31 minutes. It is still goalless between France and Morocco, and it will be Jonny to take us through to half time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. It feels like quite a while this first quarter stretched on, and it has, of course, 31 minutes, and we had all that delay.
It's actually turned into 2/3.
Yes, it has. It really has. I mean, we had that delay for the penalty, just as, in fact, we even mentioned before the penalty that they'd gone a little bit over, but we have had that hydration break, and I think the players in not every situation in this World Cup so far will have wanted one, but they certainly will today. Sweltering conditions, and we've both...
Beautiful arena, though. We can see that aerial shot now. It's a fantastic stadium.
It really is.
Absolutely full to the brim as well. Didier Deschamps. I mean, I can only assume that France maybe are unhappy that Bono was half a step over the line, but that's not why that penalty was missed. I know that that's a new thing that they like to keep an eye on with VAR, but as I say, the opportunity's been and gone, and France have now just got to forget about it and remember that they still were the side on top.
They were, and they've got to go again. So it's going to be a throw-in to France. Lucas Digne is going to take it for them, the number 3, to get it back onto the field of play. And as you say, France have just got to put that penalty miss out of their mind. They have been the better side in terms of they've had more territory, they've had more of the ball, as Elise finds Kone, and it's now out with Mbappe, who himself has to refocus. Here's Dembele. He's going to go for the shot. He's twisting, he's turning, he goes for the effort, and it was bending, it was curling, and it wasn't too far away. And we've seen it ourselves, in fact, with that Dembele hat-trick earlier on in the tournament. When he cuts inside and takes an effort to wrap his foot around it, he's dangerous.
He is dangerous. On that occasion, he never really wrapped his foot around it. That was the problem. It didn't really get the bend that he was looking for, but you could certainly see from the reverse angle what he was trying to do. Just needed to get a little bit more rotation on the ball, but that's the problem, isn't it? That Dembele is one of the best in the world at that, and arguably his teammate Elise is the best in the world at that, cutting in onto his left foot. So it's something Morocco have to be careful about. Here comes Doué.
Oh, I think he's just nutmegged Hakimi there, Doué, and he's running away, he's tearing away, and Hakimi gets back. It's quite a strong arm in the back, and the referee says nothing doing, and Hakimi comes away with it, and now suddenly Morocco could go forward, but it's a poor pass, it's a misplaced pass by Anahi, and now France come forward. It's frantic stuff. This as Elise comes forward, he goes over, and the referee's letting quite quite a lot go here. And I think both sides wanted free kicks in that passage of play. Neither got them, and to be honest, I'm quite happy with that.
Well, the referees have been very lenient in this World Cup. There's no doubt about that, barring a few exceptions, of course, from our very own English Premier League. But other than that, the referees, in fairness to Michael Oliver, they didn't make it easy for him in that game, the two sets of players. But overall, there's clearly been a direction from the very top to say, look, let's not be too quick with the yellow cards, little pushes, little barges here and there. Let's keep the game going. And I think, generally speaking, most fans are happy with that. But it's just when referees are inconsistent within the same game, that's when it's a little bit difficult to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Here is Hakimi, the captain for Morocco. He goes backwards to Issa Diop, and he now tries to play it into midfield looking for El Anoui, the number 24. He's been directed by Bouadi, his pivot teammate, his defensive midfield teammate, to play the ball backwards, and in fact Bouadi receives it and plays it to Diop. And so far Morocco seem pretty content just to pass the ball amongst themselves. They haven't seen much of it so far, so I imagine they just need to sort of get a bit of control here, because they haven't had much of it.
They haven't had much of it. The problem is that once they go over the halfway line and try and do something in the final third, then they're almost a little bit scared to send too many men forward, so they're trying to either play risky balls or diagonal balls. On this occasion, it works beautifully, and they are heading towards the penalty area.
That's lovely. And now he tries to slip it through to Brahim Diaz, but it's stabbed away, and Morocco's still showing that they can be dangerous. But Rabiot tries to come away with it, and in the end, Issa Diop clears the ball up very well. And Mazraoui, who of course gave away that penalty, he'll be relieved to see it saved. And, a twisting and turning there. El Anoui nearly runs into trouble, and Bouadi has run into trouble. He tries to flick it away from Doué, but he's lost it. France turn it over. Here's Doué going all the way. Great save by Bono. Should Doué have done better there? He's allowed to run forward, to sprint forward after nicking the ball back, and his shot is low, but Bono gets down to it very well.
He does, but Morocco are playing themselves into all kinds of trouble. It's the two older midfielders, El Anoui and Bouadi.
Straight at him, though,
really,
isn't it?
It is straight at him. And actually, Bono does well to save it, but you could argue that maybe he should even hold it.
Yeah, quite possibly. It was very central effort, and if Doué, once again, we said it with the Upamecano header, either side of the keeper, and he's not going to be able to stop that. It was at point-blank range. It's a corner instead for France. They will have wanted to have scored a goal by now, as complaints that the corner is... the ball's not inside the quadrant for the corner, and to be honest, it didn't look like it was.
They never are. They're just on the corner, on the edge of them, really, aren't they? Here comes the ball from Elise.
Elise, and it's in towards Koundé. The header's tame and easily gathered by Bono. It wasn't on target at all, and now Morocco looking to break out here with Hakimi, who's taken up residence on the left-hand side. He bursts forward, a little bit of a tangle, but he's able to come away with the ball, and then he goes down. It was a strong challenge by, I think it might have been Kone in the middle there, and he stayed down, Hakimi. He looks in some discomfort. It was Kone, who's also just clutching his lower back, and, well, the referees let it go once again, and we say consistency. He's been consistent there, hasn't he?
He has been consistent, yeah. I think that the referee overall, as I made the point earlier, that some referees aren't quite easy to read, because in the same game they're consistent, they're sort of lenient and strict at the same time, whereas this referee is trying to let things go. There's probably been a few that sort of people used to a Premier League diet would have expected a few more free kicks, but that's no bad thing if they can introduce a little bit more open play in the Premier League, because I think we'll all be in favour of that.
Yeah, it creates more turnovers, it creates high stakes end-to-end football, where if you just lose,
and players will learn as well eventually that if the referee's not going to give it, there's no point in going over. But this is a stat that is going to worry Morocco. 10 efforts from France, 3 of them on target, including the missed penalty. Morocco have not had any kind of effort whatsoever.
No, they haven't. And we said at the start of the game, didn't we, and off air as well, that Morocco really need to do what they do best and go out this game. It does feel like the tactical instructions have been to soak up a lot of pressure, and they will have hoped to have gone forward on the break, but we just haven't really seen that. What do you think Morocco need to do better?
Well, I think that the issue is they've got to try and get the possession that they've got now. They've got to try and move it forward at least a third of the pitch if they can, because most of their possession now is in their defensive third, pushing towards the halfway line. They've got virtually nothing in the final third, and that's the other risk as well, that when they're losing the ball inside their defensive third, they're giving it away. I'd say a bit of a lunge there from El Anoui, who loses the ball to Kone, then fouls him. There's certainly going to be a free kick to France. There may also be a booking. Yeah,
Kone just nicks the ball off him, and then he's a bit unlucky there, I think, El Anoui, because there's maybe a foot on top of the foot of Kone, but it just looked like a 50-50 to me, which Kone was going to win anyway, and he looked like he was away. The free kick has been taken. Doué's got the ball on the left-hand side. He goes backwards to Luca Digne, and it's now into Saliba. As you said earlier on, France once again just pushing their centre-backs into more like holding midfield positions and sending the rest of their players beyond them, as here's Elise trying to go on a little bit of a hazy-mazy run, and he gets grappled, and he's still got the ball somehow. He tries to find Dembele, but it just wriggles away from Dembele, and now Brahim Diaz looks to come away with it. Saliba's there, pushing the back possibly from Saliba, and yes, the referee has given the free kick. Brahim Diaz wanted to take it quickly, but everything just slows down slightly, and Morocco will have the free kick. And well, we've seen it a few times that Morocco have just been a little bit sloppy when trying to play their way out from the back, and I think that's where France have looked their most dangerous, when Morocco have given the ball away to them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when France have just had their own possession, Morocco have almost been ready for it, haven't they? They've been able to soak it up and deal with most of it. It's when they get caught in possession, that's when France have looked their most dangerous. And actually the attack that led to the penalty came from a turnover pretty much on the halfway line, in fact even in the French half. So it was almost a counter-attack that led to that particular move. But again, a nice little spell of possession for Morocco, but it's all inside their own half, and even that nearly went out of play then as well.
Yeah, under absolutely no pressure. It's a poor pass, but luckily it was able to be gathered by El Khanous, who, once again, we spoke about the interchanging positions. On the team sheet, it looked like El Khanous was going to be on the left-hand side of the attack and Brahim Diaz down the middle. Well, we've seen Khanous play in pretty much every position on that front three, in that front line. He's drifted into the centre. He's now on the right-hand side and looks to have swapped with Talbi, who might actually pick up the ball here. It's actually with Brahim Diaz, the number 10, who's drifting all over the place. He looks to send Talbi away, the number 7, and he's played a ball across the box, but it's dealt with well by Upamecano, and France are able to clear. But forward come Morocco. The header is played forward by Salah Ad-Din, and it's all the way behind for a goal kick that wasn't really a particularly threatening header forward by him, as Morocco just trying to get a little bit of a foothold. They have been hemmed into their own half, but they'll be happy they haven't conceded. They possibly should have done a couple of times, particularly the Mbappe penalty that was really poor, but they've got away with that one. And now France looking to get going as we tick over to the 40-minute mark, and it's Koundé on the ball for France. If it were to stay like this at half-time, it is an if, of course, quite a big if, but would you suggest that Morocco will be happy with that scoreline?
I think they'll be happy with the scoreline. Whether they'll be happy with everything they've done on the pitch, probably not, because I think Mohamed Ouabi probably would have wanted his players just to be a little bit more expansive and obviously not give the ball away in their own half. That's the thing that's going to be worrying him the most, I think.
Koné coming forward for France. Mbappe just steers it around the corner for Elise, who's lost out, though. Salah Ad-Din with a good challenge, and now Morocco trying to play out from the back. We know that's gone wrong a couple of times, but they seem to have done it quite well there. Mazraoui picks a pass to Diaz, who's dropped quite deep. In fact, this is Salah Ad-Din. He goes backwards, and it's with Mazraoui now for Morocco. Finds Salah Ad-Din, and they're just happy to slow it down. You can imagine in that sweltering heat, all the defending they've had to do might be catching up with them as they close in on a 0-0 scoreline at half-time. Here's Bouadi. He finds Hakimi, who's drifted quite central, picking up more of a midfield kind of role, and he's now drifting out to the right-hand side to receive it from Nahi, who he himself is probably more of an attacking midfielder, but he's dropped quite deep. Very interchangeable, this Moroccan side, and it seems to be free-flowing in terms of position, but not particularly free-flowing going forward. They've won a throw-in here. They wanted a free kick, but they're not going to get it. El Khanous, an arm in the back from Upamecano, as we see Shakira there in attendance with the sunglasses on. It's rare for me to see a celebrity that I know who it is, but I'm pretty confident that is Shakira. We've seen it plenty throughout this tournament, celebrities on the big screens, and I've had no idea who they are. What about you, Paul? Have you recognised?
Yeah, I mean, I just about recognise Shakira, but if you're going to start throwing influencers at me, then you can forget about it. You might as well show me anybody in the crowd, and I could assume that they're probably famous for the same reason as well. But no, it certainly has drawn a lot of attention. I think that it is also fair to say that some of the marketing and some of the sort of the reporting of this World Cup, it is almost, you can almost be forgiven for thinking that it's a US-only World Cup, really, isn't it? It has sort of centred very much on the US, but no, I think overall it has certainly been a very popular tournament over there, and obviously it's always a hugely popular tournament worldwide. And I think that this game so far has probably just failed to live up to expectations in terms of the attacking threat, but there was always a danger that these two could work against each other like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There are two attacking sides, and as you say, they can cancel each other out, as Morocco going backwards again nearly get themselves in trouble, but they have have just about dealt with it. I mentioned the match momentum graphs that we've been seeing. Well, it's pretty much all France. Only two little blobs of red, Moroccan red, on that chart as Hakimi looked to try and dash forward down the right touchline, but he's played the ball out of play and France will retain possession. Nearly 43 minutes have been played in this first half. A first half which has been largely dominated by France. We haven't seen much of Morocco. France with a couple of really big chances. Upamecano with a free header that he should have done better with, played it straight at the goalkeeper Bono, and then Mbappe had a penalty that was saved. It was poor, it was tame, it was rolled pretty much straight down the middle, and Bono was able to get there. And then of course Doué had a shot that was quite easily stopped as well. Another situation where either side of the goalkeeper, and they probably scored. Three big chances, France haven't taken them. Can they take one now as Kone's found himself on the left wing and he's managed to roll it back towards Doué, and now they'll come in field with Rabiot and he's looking for Mbappe who tries to hold it up. Straight away there's two men on him and force him to play backwards. They're looking to double up on Mbappe, which is probably quite wise because we've seen what he can do when he's running in behind, and Mazraoui just couldn't handle it. Dembele for France, they try and conjure up something at the end of this first half. He finds Upamecano who threads a ball through towards Koundé, but it's just overhit. And to be honest, been a little bit of the story of the show for France so far, in that their final product just hasn't been there.
No, I think it's fair to say that both sides are struggling in the final third. Morocco are struggling to get the ball even into the final third. France are seeing a lot more of it in the final third, but their distribution and their efforts on goal by and large have been disappointing so far.
As we see the French supporters there trying to get their team going, trying to give them a little bit of momentum. We've seen shots, wide shots of the stadium. There's plenty of blue shirts, but there's also plenty of Moroccan red as well. So I think the battle on the pitch is being matched by the battle of the voices in the Boston Stadium, as we see Antoine Griezmann there. He's boogieing about. He seems quite happy, but I'm not sure how happy he'll actually be when he stops and looks at the game, watches how his team have been getting on. They haven't got on the score sheet. They probably should have done. Hakimi coming forward for Morocco. He finds Bouhaddi. And now it's back with El Khanous. And here is Diop, the number 14. They've gone backwards to him. Morocco, they seem to have done this quite a lot. France having quite a lot of joy just forcing them backwards towards their own goal. Bono is going to go long for them. And he's looking to try and set them on their way with Talbi, but he's not going to make it. 5 added minutes in this first half. 5 more minutes for either of these sides trying to find an opening as a ball slotted through by Elise towards Mbappe. Bono had to be alive to it. He was. He hoofs it downfield, and he was quick off the marks there to deal with that. Luca Digne on the left-hand side for France finds Doué, who tries to wriggle free, but in the end he's dispossessed. And can Morocco come away with it now? No, they've given it straight back. It was El Khanous defending in the right-back position, and now forward comes Elise for France. He just shrugs off a bit of pressure from Brahim Diaz and goes back to Kone, who goes out towards the right-hand side. Koundé, now Dembele, running at his man, trying to shift the ball inside. He does try and bend across in. It's more across on the outside of the box as the ball works its way out towards Luca Digne now in more of an attacking crossing position, but he goes backwards for Doué. And France just stroking the ball about, and it's a shot from Kone that is blocked quite easily, and it's going to find its way actually kept in by Dembele. It looked like it was going out for a throw in. Here's Elise with his back to goal, twists, turns, tries to get a shot away, easily blocked by Mazraoui. It'll come out to Digne, who will shoot from range. Ooh. And it was dipping, it was dangerous, and Bono didn't know which way it was going. He had to get a glove on it, and he's tipped it over the bar. And I thought for a second, why is Luca Digne firing from this far out? Well, that's why. It was a good effort, it was dangerous, and it was swerving all over the place.
It certainly was. I mean, I think they're saying that there was no save there from Bono. I think that's why Digne was a bit frustrated, because I thought, to me, Bono definitely got fingertips to push it onto the bar. Let's see from this slightly slowed down and angle from a little bit further out. Does he get a hand to that?
Definitely.
I think he almost definitely does. There's no doubt in my mind, but it was given as a goal kick.
Yeah, and I can see why Digne's frustrated at that one. It was a venomous strike, and I suppose we can't fully know. It was a very slight touch from Bono. It was definitely a touch just to tip it onto the bar. It may have been heading for the crossbar anyway, but his touch may well have been vital in keeping the ball out from the back of the net. He was swerving in the air, that one. It was a really deadly effort from Luca Digne. But in the end, France have not found the back of the net so far in this first half, as Doué with a lovely touch, and he can now run at Hakimi. Hakimi just falls over in trying to keep him away. The referee has blown his whistle, and it's gone against Doué. He wanted a penalty. Hakimi sort of threw himself in front of it with a sort of a diving header, but there was no header to be made. And they're both tugging each other's shirts, and I think Hakimi will say, well, he pulled me down.
Well, the first thing I would say is that if there is ever going to be a foul from Hakimi there, it all starts outside the box anyway. So for me, it's not even a question of whether it's a penalty. I'm not sure that there's enough for a foul there anyway. And in the current climate of referees letting things go, they're both holding each other's shirts anyway. So there's no way that should be anything for France there.
Absolutely, Hakimi will say that he pulled me down to the ground, and I don't necessarily disagree with him. But forward come France. Mbappe's found Dembele. It's dangerous here. He's cutting inside. He's gone down, but it's really well won by Salah-Ad-Din, who's done really well to dispossess him and come away with the ball.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him playing at left back for Morocco this evening. I'll come back to that though, because Morocco actually have a chance to go on the attack.
Yeah, we've not seen it very often, and they've just checked back and taken the sting out of this attack. El Khanous, he's dropped quite deep. Hakimi's marauding forward in more of a central position. Brahim Diaz on the right hand side. He finds El Khanous again. Here's Hakimi. And not seemingly got many runners in behind here, so just little triangles for Morocco. El Khanous tries to find a way through, finds Hakimi, but once again he's checking back, coming inside, finds Brahim Diaz, who's tried to bend the ball into the box. He wants a handball, he's got one. It was point blank range, and Rabiot, I'm not sure how he could have got his hands out the way, but the referee's given this one, and it's in a dangerous position.
It is in a dangerous position. We've got just over a minute of the 5 minutes of added time left. There'll be certainly enough time for Morocco to take the only thing I would say for Rabiot is that arm is out.
It's away, isn't it, from the body?
And as I say, I appreciate that as he's positioning himself to block a shot, he's not going to be standing to attention and have his arms down by his side, but that arm really was extended quite a way, and I can see why the referee would give that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It was too far away from his body, and it was also, it wasn't really naturally by his side, was it? It was sort of in the air. So I can absolutely see why this has been given, and we've got Hakimi and Diaz stood over it. I think if you're striking a goal, you favour the left footer here, but it might be an outswinging ball in by Hakimi, or he might try and take the goalkeeper by surprise. He tried that once today, thought he caught Maignan off his line. It was nowhere near in that situation, but what are we going to see here? It's Hakimi who's going to take it. He strikes, he tries to do the same thing pretty much, but he's blazed this one wide, and poor from the free kick once again by Hakimi.
I'm not even sure if this one isn't worse than the first one, because this one is so much more within range, and he's so far away. I mean, he is probably half a goal's width away from the actual goal frame itself. It's a really poor one, and that's actually the last action of this first half. So it is goalless then between France and Morocco, and we are back in 15 minutes.